Hello, captains. Welcome back. I am Captain Cash the Stampede, and good news has been spilled all over the deck of our mighty vessels. The developers over at Skull and Bones, they do this thing called the letter from the producer. If you've been playing the game for a while, you're familiar with it. If you are new, basically it's a sort of information dump about all the challenges and things that the developers went on or went through during the year during the season, and what they've done to approach those problems. Also in that, it also has a bit of good news about the next season that we will be launching into on July 15th. The best news out of all of that, though, there is confirmation that the balancing issues that we've all been complaining about will be addressed. We'll be talking about that as I go over it in the video, but I did want to put that right up top because I do feel that it is one of, if not the most important thing. We're essentially going to get a split sandbox, one for PvP, one for PvE. So if you think you want to hear a little bit more about that, get some clarity on it, definitely hang out with us, but no more rambling for me. Let's go ahead and get into it. Again, as I mentioned, link for the entire article will be down in the descriptions, but Year 2 Season 1 so far. We kicked off Skull and Bones with Year 2 back in April with our showcase, giving you a glimpse into our plans for the future of the game, followed by the release of Year 2 Season, or the Year 2 Season 1 update. Our primary goal with the beginning of Year 2 was to mark a turning point in the game and reaffirm our commitment to bring new exciting content and features to the game while refining and improving our core game experience based on your feedback. The many positive reactions from so many of you, both during the showcase and with the new update, were both encouraging and motivating for the entire team. While there's still a lot of work ahead of us, we strongly believe our decision to focus on quality first is the right strategy moving forward. First up, Helm Empire. With the conclusion of Year 1, we made the commitment to move away from the seasonal Helm reset as a direct answer to your feedback. To do so, with the launch of Year 2 Season 1 update, brought some major and important changes to the Helm Empire. With these changes, we've successfully repositioned the feature as an in-game, long-term activity for our most dedicated players to invest in and build significant resources of a significant resource of passive income. Your manufactories are now able to produce not just pieces of 8, but also a variety of different resources and help you build and expand your fleet. Thanks to your feedback, we are now looking at further improvements, such as improving the return on investment in the early stages of building your empire, but also further expanding the feature with more unique functionalities and benefits. Our long-term vision is to position the Helm Empire feature as more than just a passive long-term investment and a true reflection of your power and influence as a kingpin. They don't give any details about what that means, but that is the first section. Next section, Item Ascension. With the launch of Item Ascension, we've brought a whole new range of options for you to optimize your favorite loadout and playstyle on the high seas. The amount of discussion this feature alone generated is a clear confirmation of the excitement and enthusiasm many of you find in theory crafting. I don't know why they call it theory crafting. It's build crafting, but I see what you mean. Here as well, the team is actively working on refining and improving this popular feature based on the feedback we've gathered. One key aspect we're looking into is reducing the amount of randomness involved in reforging and giving players more agency to craft their perfect loadout. I like what I'm hearing. More specifically, we're working on implementing an option to lock the effect of a modification while allowing you to reforge only its values. Okay. While giving you more venues to obtain weapon blueprints when they are not available on active rotation. So if you didn't catch what that means, they're implementing a way to... So for those of you who don't like the percentage that you got, they're working on a way for you to get yourself enhanced or amplified explosive, but let's say you only got it at 20%, there'll be a way for you to lock in the amplified explosion, but then re-roll the percentage. That's at least what I believe I'm hearing. While these improvements are still a work in progress and not quite ready to release with Season 2 just yet, we wanted to acknowledge the problem space and offer some insight into what's coming in the future. Do let us know your thoughts or any additional suggestions you'd like to us to consider for the future improvements to Item Ascension. World Tiers is next, and we have, following the introduction of Mythic Vikram in Year 1, Season 4, we've continued to explore more ways to bring new levels of difficulty to the game for our most dedicated players. Our goal with introducing World Tiers is to create dedicated spaces for both new and veteran players, where we can tweak the various rules in our open world and reward players according to their achievements. As we move into future seasons, we've identified 3 key areas of focus that we believe will enhance the overall experience for both World Tier 1 and 2. Density of world activities. With the continuous addition of new content to our open world since the launch of the game, things can feel a little overcrowded. Yes, you are not wrong. While random encounters bring certain elements of surprise and excitement, overlapping events do also bring unfortunate difficulty spikes that can be difficult to manage. As such, we have decided to implement short-term fixes to reduce the frequency of dynamic world events while we work on more robust improvements to solve the issue long-term. I just want to throw it out here. You guys have a massive map for that you're in. There are just huge sections of it that you're not using where things could happen, especially with these trade routes. I need you to have these things be a little bit more random. Stop making them so permanent and locking these things into certain, ways that have to go in and off of the map. Let them go to other places. That way the boss fights and things that we have, the epic boss fights, aren't in the paths of these things. If there's a boss fight going on in this area, then have all of the trade routes going on in a completely separate area of the map. I'm completely fine with not running 2 events at once. Just throwing that out there in my personal opinion. Next, balance of world activities, ships, and equipment. Following up on our commitment to make a proactive approach to balancing our game's content and difficulty, our next focus is set on ongoing issues. Our next focus is set on solving ongoing issues that you have been raising to our attention. More specifically, we're actively looking at the amount of health, quote-unquote bullet sponge, or the ability to deal sudden and significant high damage, quote-unquote one-shot, given to specific AI encounters, with the goal of introducing better ways for players to engage, manage, and survive such encounters. We're also continuously relying on your feedback to identify possible improvements to the mini ships and loadouts, and give you all more options to tackle the various content we have in the game. All right, next, fair reward. And I mean, let's be honest, the bullet sponge thing is nuts. There's nothing less fun than shooting at a ship, especially a smaller ship that has a ridiculous amount of health, right? It's bad enough that some of our damage output is feeling, less than satisfactory right now, but then having something that has a massive amount of health that's just not fun to fight. Yeah. So I'm glad that they are looking into that. We all know that the one-shot thing kind of sucks. Mainly that stuff really happens from boss encounters. Apak is one that I believe that has the freaking mortars that just wreck you all to hell. It's just not fun. But also what's not fun is just the amount of freaking piercing that sharpshooters get. You could remove sharpshooters from the game completely right now, and I do not think anybody would be upset. They're hard to shoot because of their low profile. They do way too much damage. Let's just get rid of them, or just give them a very, very large, very easy to hit weak point, so we can take them out in one shot. Let us one shot them for a change. I think that would be a great update to add into the game. But moving along, fair reward to effort ratio. With World Tier 2, we wanted to make sure tougher challenges came with more appropriate rewards. We started with the base world, including ships sinking, plunders, and world events. Moving forward, we will keep refining rewards in both tiers expanding to other activities such as quests, contracts, and helm takeover activities. All of these changes had significant impact on how you engage with the game's content and our in-game activities more specifically, and we want to provide you with even more enjoyable experiences in the future. Throughout Season 1, Megafort Houston remained the most efficient activity to earn pieces of 8 as well as other sought-out materials and items. With Season 2, we're increasing the pieces of 8 you can obtain from other activities to improve their risk versus reward ratio, and increase the variety of activities you choose to engage with. Again, I do appreciate that. I think it's a great thing to do, but I keep mentioning it. I think a rotating event for the forts would be absolutely outstanding. Just take one reward that's a little bit better than the other forts and just have it rotate every week to different forts. That way we're just out there, moving around the map. Get us to do other things in other areas. That's also a good way to freshen things up as well. Again, in me humble opinion. Now, changes, improvements to the AI. At the start of year 2, season 1, we made several UI changes, updating the look and adding new features, along with a major visual overhaul of the menus, especially the HUD and map. And we also added a new mini map and update many in the community had been asking for since launch. They also shows an image here of the loot beams that we used to have. Well, the larger sets of loot beams that we had when that was introduced. And going into Season 2 and beyond, we're continuing improving our game's user interface and adding visual quality of life improvements to the game. We're excited to introduce the Outpost maps in Season 2. When docked in an outpost, opening the map will now display a new dedicated map for that location, helping you better understand the various walkable paths in each output. So that's pretty cool. So again, if you go check out the article, it'll show off the image of the loot beams on the rewards. Basically just the stuff out in the water that has the color beams coming off of them. They're going to brighten them up again. Probably not as bright as when they were first implemented, but definitely brighter than they are now. And yeah, now when you go to Outposts, they'll legit be a straight up map for that specific outpost. So now you won't have to wonder which way you need to run to go do things. I believe that this is also something that's being added in for the melee combat that we're going to have at certain outposts. It would be fantastic that this is something that happens at all outposts. We don't know any information about it yet, but I would not doubt that that has something to do with it as well. Also, in Season 2, you can look forward to more polished and streamlined tooltips, making it easier to find the information you need when you need it. And they're just kind of showing off some images of the menus that they're going to be showing off or introducing. Our commitment to neater and more consistent UI across seasons reflects our desire to bring our visual standards to a greater level of quality. And of course, the work does not stop here. We'll be consistently looking to improve the look and feel of the game menus and UI season updates. Sorry. The look and feel of game menus and UI season to season. Blending artistry with immersion in the game. We'll also be revisiting some of the older menus and AI to bring them visually closer to our newer, well-polished elements. And that's not bad. I actually do like what they did when they changed the map in Season 2 or in Year 2. So yeah, I am not mad at that. These are really, really good additions that they do. The sound design got better. Some of the visuals got updated. So yeah. These things are very, very apparent, and I do enjoy them. So yeah, keep that up. Death Tides. All right, PvP folks, here you go. Our mid-season update brought the long-requested PvP mode, Death Tides. Its development was kickstarted by a smaller dedicated team as a direct response to the players requesting for a balanced team-based PvP experience for the game at launch. We launched Death Tides as a beta as a first step, with our aim to continually iterating and improving the mode for long term. working with you, our community, and the feedback that we receive. More specifically, we are currently looking at improving rewards as well as presets, bringing in new and more competitive presets, and potentially implementing a preset only game mode in the future. Hey, there you go. So that's a good idea for you guys who like PvP. Balancing. All right. Thanks to your feedback and the beta release of the Death Tides, existing balancing issues that were already present in the game, but arguably less impactful on your overall PvE experience, became more apparent. As a result, we made the commitment as a development team to place a stronger focus on rebalancing all aspects of Skull and Bones, and we hated it. The first step was a significant series of changes made to the various ships and equipment that were progressively added into the game throughout year one. While we believe these changes were necessary for the game, we're aware that they had a significant impact on the many ways you engage with our PvE content. As such, our next steps are very much focused on improving and not reducing the effectiveness of underperforming ships and equipment for every encounter in the Indian Ocean. We will continue to carefully review and adjust edge cases and ensure all of our content can be tackled with the right approach and strategy in both world tiers. Here it is. We strongly believe balancing for both PvE and PvP to be an ongoing process, and it will require continuous monitoring and adjustments over time. That being said, we want to reassure you, our community, that we have all of the tools at our disposal, allowing us to approach PvE and PvP balancing separately, and fully intend to do so going forward. Yes, everybody, pass the rum around. We did it, boys. We are getting 2 separate sandboxes. This is exactly how it should have went in the first place, but they did mention they had a small team for their PvP, so likely, I'm just gonna wager, probably was easier for them to just use the universal sandbox to get this implemented into the game faster. But now that the team has had a chance to work with it in the wild, sounds like they have the tools to go ahead and do what we want them to and split the sandbox down the middle. That is awesome. But please, but like they said, let's see here. There was something else I had read. Oh, doesn't matter. We'll get to that later. But please continue to share your constructive feedback with us on this topic. It greatly helps us identify the areas we should focus on next. All right, so that is the first section. Now we can get to the Season 2 Year 2 goodness, which, by the way, Oaths of War does launch on July 15th. Now, says here, during our Year 2 showcase, we gave you a high-level overview of our plans for new content coming in Season 2 Oaths of War. Today, we're excited to finally share a little more information about the first and long-awaited large ship coming to Skull and Bones, the frigate. Large ships in general have been long requested by the community, and designing the frigate, we wanted to take into consideration all of the feedback and suggestions that we've received to ensure it meets your expectations. As such, the frigate is a powerful and imposing vessel that's sure to leave an impression, and I can't wait to see what that means. Although it's not exempt from weaknesses, as with any ship introduced into the game, we have made several tuning passes ahead of launch and will continue to monitor its performance closely after launch. For details, keep an eye out for our upcoming dev blog deep dive. Next up, throughout Year 2 Season 1, the most deserving among you may have noticed an ongoing construction of the new Megafort, expected to be complete with the launch of Season 2. Its ownership will have changed, so I keep thinking that this is going to be a DMC fort out there in company territory, considering that these two are going to be battling it out. So I feel like it's going to start out company and then get taken over by DMC. I don't know, but let's go ahead and continue on. Its ownership will have changed, bringing a new challenge to the Indian Ocean for you to tackle. Without spoiling too much of the experience, we strongly recommend you not only bring your most powerful ship, but also other like-minded captains. Our new matchmaking system will ensure you get more than a party of 3 to work together and seize victory. Keep an eye out for the dedicated dev blog covering the Mega Fort. I hope that since now we have a way to, of course, matchmake for PvP, but not only that, you can group up with whoever you're going to go into PvP with at the main menu. I don't know if you guys all noticed that, but yeah, you can just load right into the game, press, triangle or Y on console. I'm not sure what it is on PC, but yeah, you can just load right in with people right there at the menu, and then, you can go ahead and start going into, 3 of you can go right into PvE or into PvP. I'm hoping we get that for these modes. I don't mind that there's matchmaking to let everybody get together and do it, but damn it, we have groups already formed. There's a bunch of us who would love to go into a Vikram match-made thing together so we can do it as a group, but that's not something that you're allowing. So please, I hope this is the beginning of that, because if that happens, I'm hoping it could be added into the Vikram situation. Next up, Faction War coming mid-season. I apologize if that car is driving in the background and you can hear it. With our mid-season update comes a brand new major feature, Faction War, focused on the company and DMC conflict. You'll soon have to choose a side and fight for it to reap rewards. This key feature introduction in Season 2 is only the first step, as we have plans to expand it throughout the rest of our Year 2 roadmap with updates and improvements shaped by your feedback. We'll share more details on what you can expect as we get closer to the mid-season update. I don't know what this means, Faction War. It sounds cool. It sounds like it's going to be more than just something that we're doing for the season, which is really cool. And I do like a lot of this, hey, we're going to shape it based on your feedback. Again, I don't know what it is, but sounds pretty cool. Contracts and stories. These are new. So Year 2, Season 2 will see a new series of contracts and stories, all of which are set around the growing conflict between the company and DMC. This season will see the return of a community favorite character from Year 1. We'll sure that will be music to your ears. Looking at the picture here, it looks like, I'm not sure which of the Huback twins, but chances are we're going to get serenaded out there. By the way, I forgot to mention that the images on here show off the frigate. So if you are curious about our large ship, click the link down below, and it looks like about halfway through the article, you'll see it. It's one of the images that actually moves instead of just being a straight up picture. You can just watch that bad boy sailing out there. It's one of the ships that has one of them gnarly ass giant sails in the front that looks like it's there to just blind you and keep you from seeing anything. Man, I've been wanting a ship like that ever since I've been watching Black Sails. So yeah, that's in there. It shows off an image of the Megafort, which we've already seen, and that is and the image of the Huback, one of the Huback twins. Quality of life improvements is next. Along with the new key features in Year 2 Season 2, long requested quality of life updates are coming as well with the update, among which are wind and sailing improvements. Awesome. These changes will make sailing more responsive and skill-based, giving players more control. If you align your ship well with the wind, you'll go faster than ever. If you drop anchor smartly, you'll turn harder and faster. And there's actually, again, a little clip that shows a little Bedar, like going fast and then dropping anchor quickly and straight up U-turning and then getting back into sailing. So that's kind of cool. These improvements, it says here, are aimed at introducing additional layers of challenge to navigation in general to provide a little reward for experienced captains who can steer their ship masterfully. To be clear, we intend to keep the current sailing controls and mechanics largely intact while we introduce further gameplay depth to sailing, all of which would provide additional navigation bonuses. And this is pretty cool to hear, but they say here there will be no new penalties introduced for sailing against the wind, which is super kick-ass. And by the way, if you're not using it in combat when you're out there in the open ocean or open areas where you do have space for it, yeah, make sure that you're using the wind to get away from some of those more vicious attacks from some of the more powerful enemies that we have out there. I guarantee you're not doing it, because I wasn't doing it in every fight that I got into. So if you do kind of keep an eye on that, it looks like even more so now, it'll be a very, very effective way to get your ship out of danger. Ship loadouts are coming. So underneath the image of the U-turning Bedar, it shows a little glimpse of our ship loadout feature, which is awesome. And by the look of it, 4 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. So we get 20 loadout slots. And again, these cats are pretty good about adding things in per season. So let's hope that 20 is the start, and maybe we get some more going into seasons 3 and 4. Also, weapon vanity, a new feature that it will be coming that will allow you to personalize your weapons with unique skins. Shows off a pretty sweet set of cannons. Looks like these are new. I don't know what these are. They look like long guns, but they're not tucked into the gun ports. They're actually aiming just above them, almost giving me the impression that these are like some broadside mortars or something. I'm not sure what they are, what the weapon is, but it does show off a pretty sweet cosmetic that's on it. So it does look like we'll be able to do that, and possibly be getting a new set of weapons, like an entirely new weapon class added into the game. Maybe. We'll have to see. Says here we'll have more to share on the new content coming with Year 2 Season 2 in the coming weeks on Discord, Reddit, social media, and our website. And that's it. The last bit here is a community spotlight for the Skull and Bones tools. There will be a link for that. There's a site. I've never been to it. I know nothing about it, so I don't know if it's something that you should check it out. But let's be honest, it's someone who's in the community, so I say check it out. And let's, support one of our pirates out there, one of our pirate captains. But that's it. So yep, apologies for yet another long form video, but hey, let's blame the developers on that. This week they just had a lot of information, and instead of giving it in small little bits of chunks, they give it us in huge info dumps. I'm not mad at it, you know what I mean? I'd rather know stuff than rather be sitting around guessing and wondering what's coming down the pipeline. But that is it. So captains, good news. Like we said, balancing is going to be getting updated. I hope that this is something that's coming soon. They didn't give us a window or time frame on it. It just says that that's what they plan on doing going forward. So we can hope that there will be some reversals of some nerfs that we got to some of our ships and long guns. I don't know if, we'll be seeing huge changes or reversions in PvP. Chances are that stuff's going to stay where it's at, and probably even more nerfs coming your way. But time will tell. We'll have to wait and see what comes, and we will also hope that they are not too aggressive for the PvP side of the community. As far as PvE goes, hopefully we will be eating good yet again. So that is good news. Weapon loadouts, or ship loadouts, sorry, that is freaking huge, because now you won't have to have so many different types of the same ship. If you're like me, I don't mind having a bunch of ships in my fleet to handle the whole Helm Empire thing, but I seriously have one of every of the ships, every one of our ships, like with a build or with something on them. I have 2 schooners right now, and it was like pulling teeth to get me to do that. So I'm not really a fan of trying to have a bunch of different ship types out there. If I can just straight up have a loadout, and I can just put that loadout on whatever ship I feel like using at the time, man, that sounds like a really, really good idea. Another loadout thing that I would like to see is loadouts for our captains, for our cosmetics. Yeah, we do already have, the full sets that come in the game. I want to be able to make our own sets for our captains. I would also like that for our ships. So same thing, we can make some ship loadouts that are not the curated ones, or the ones that are already come in the game, the ones that we unlock on the first page of our cosmetics. So if loadouts are coming, let's go ahead and let's put them in there. Let's go load out every angle of the game. Give me some food loadouts. Give me some cannonball loadouts. Give me some straight cargo loadouts. You know what I mean? So let's, again, that's why they say jump into their comments, jump into not their comments, sorry, jump into the Discord, jump into the subreddit, jump in there, make these suggestions, because if we don't make them, they never hear them. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to make sure that I'm close by for their next stream as well, because I do want to float the idea of the rotating forts. I think that's just a good idea. Jump in the comments and let me know what you think. But I am done waffling over here. Thank you for coming out, and I hope that we get more and more good news. Take it easy, Captain. We'll see you in the sea.